Here we go. We've got DE as the midsegment. They're going to give us that DE is 4x plus 5 and that GJ is 3x plus 25. What is DE? What we're going to need to do, if DE is the midsegment, then it's going to be half the size of my base here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to double it to make them equal. That gives me 8x plus 10 is equal to 3x plus 25. Subtract the 3x, move the 10, I'll get 5x is equal to 15, x is equal to 3. And then I'm going to take this, they want DE, what is DE? 3 times 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17. And that'll give me that length. Find x and y. X right here, you've got the perpendicular bisector running through the vertex. Anyway, you could prove these two triangles similar. However you wanted to do that, these two sides are going to be equal. And I'll get 3x plus 8 is equal to 7x minus 16. So 4x is equal to 24. X is going to be equal to 8. Or x is going to be equal to 6, rather. Almost got a little crazy there. And then this one, I'm going to have to set up a system. It's the same basic idea. I'm going to have 3y is equal to 5x minus 1. And I'm going to have 2y plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 3. I'm going to get my x and y's on the same side. That's 2y plus 1. X and y is on the same side. So this equation will be negative 2x plus 2y is equal to 2. Moving the x and that 1. This one up here will be negative 5x plus 3y is equal to negative 1. And then from that point, I'm going to take, we're going to divide this equation by 2 and then multiply it by 3. So we'll divide it by 2, negative 2, and multiply it by positive 3. So we'll get the 3x minus 3y is equal to negative 3. That's going to come from x minus y is equal to negative 1 divided by negative 2 and then multiplying it by 3. Anyway, getting our elimination on, negative 2x is going to be equal to negative 4, x equal to positive 2. Once you know x is positive 2, that's going to give you 10 minus 1 is equal to 3y. Y is equal to 9, or y is equal to 3. 3y is equal to 9. And I'll get x equal to y equal positive 3 for that problem. This one, RS is going to be parallel to JL. It's got the congruency. Basically, it's going to tell you that all these are mid-segments. So RS and JL, ST and KJ. You'll have KL and RT. And then congruency, SL is going to be congruent to KS and the mid-segment, so SL, KS, and RT. JR, RK, JR, RK, and TS. And then you have JT, TL, and RS. Looking good. Is it a perpendicular bisector, median, or altitude? This one is going to be an altitude. It's also going to be a perpendicular bisector. And it's also going to be a median. Comes from the vertex to the middle. That's what makes it a median. Comes from the middle and goes perpendicular up. That's what makes it a perpendicular bisector. And comes from the vertex and hits it at a 90-degree angle. That's what makes it an altitude. All are good. This one is going to be none. You might think it's an altitude, but in order for it to be altitude, it's got to come from the vertex and hit at a 90. It does not. All the other ones are easy to see that it's not. On this one, it's just a median. Going from the vertex down to the middle of the triangle, median. These two, given that AB is equal to BC and AD, find AD and the measure of ABC. All right. So these two are going to be the same. And then ABC, these two are the same. Find AD and make that happen. So we've got, draw this big triangle out. They're going to tell us this. They've also told us this. And that is enough information to HL make these two triangles congruent. That's going to make this 39 and make the entirety of it 78. So that angle measure is going to be 78. Since the two triangles are congruent, this 12 can be moved over here. And AD will be equal to 12. The next one's going to say that it's the centroid. Find FG and BD. That's going to be the 2 to 3 ratio. So FG is going to be half of 13, or is that going to be 6.5? And then BD is going to be all of this. So if this is 10, this would be 5. All of it would be 15. Looking good. Next page. Find X and JG. All of these are the same. So this one, you've got this triangle right here. You've got 20, you've got 3x minus 5, and this one over here is actually also going to be x plus 5 because you've got the incenter from that point to the sides. It's going to be congruent. I'm going to go a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. I'm going to do a little double distribution in the old noodle. I hope it works out. So we have, this is going to turn into x squared plus 10x plus 25. This is going to turn into 9x squared minus 30, minus 30x plus 25. And then, of course, on my other side, I've got my 400. All of this goes together. I'm going to get 10x squared minus 20x. This will be a 50. We're going to subtract minus 350 is equal to 0. So move that 400 over and then push everything together. I can drop a 0 off of everything, and that's going to factor in real nice. X minus 7, x plus 5 equals 0. And I get x equals 7, x equal negative 5. I can drop the negative 5 because that'll give me a side length of, in-center length of 0. X is going to be 7, and that means JG is going to be 12. Moving right along. Is it possible to construct a triangle? No. These two together are 48. That's not long enough to put that's not long enough to span the 65. This one's going to be yes, because you've got 45. That's more than enough to cover that 43. This one is going to be no, because these two together are 52, and that's not long enough to cover a side of 54. Describe the other possible two lengths. The smallest it could be, it's got to be larger than 3 inches. If it's not larger than 3 inches, I can't get from 6 to 9. It has to be less than 15 inches, or 6 and 9 together won't span that gap. Difference, if it's not more than 4 feet, more than 8 feet rather, you can't get from 4 to 12. And if it is larger than 16, there's no equality here, has to be smaller than 16, or these two can't span it. The same thing here. We'll get between 9 meters and 27 meters. Same reasoning. You've got to be small enough that you can get from the little one to the big one, and then you have to be big enough to get from the little one to the big one, and small enough that those two together aren't completely passed up by it. All right, we've got an A-frame house, and it's A-frame house. The floor of the second level, labeled LM, is closer to the first floor in P than the mid-segment JK. So this is going to be the mid-segment of the big triangle. If JK is 14 feet long, can LM be 12? So if this is 14, no, because we're getting bigger. So the first one is no. If it is 14, can it be 14 feet long? No. Can it be 20 feet long? Yes. Now, it's going to start getting bigger. If this is 14 and it's the mid-segment, then this bottom one is going to be 28. So 20 feet long, yes. 24 feet long, yes. 30 feet long, no. And that's because you're larger. This is the mid-segment. This has to be somewhere between 14 and 28 or it's not going to work. My last page, solve for x. This will be angle bisector. I know that this ray is the angle bisector because it's equidistant from each of the rays. And I've got 5x minus 2 is equal to 5x minus 2 is 4x plus 5. So x is going to be equal to 7. Move the 4 and the 5. That'll be it for these pages.